Hello everyone and welcome to a quick tutorial that explains how to participate in Fhenix and Secret Hackathon. If you want to learn more about Fhenix and what FHE is, you can hit the Fhenix and TFHE link for more information. For the beginning, let us all start with setting up a local Fhenix instance to ease our development process. The local Fhenix is a local instance of a Fhenix network that is running as a Docker on your computer, like Ganache. As a prerequisite, we need to make sure that we install both Docker and PNPM, as you can see here. Once we installed all the prerequisites, we can continue with cloning the template file, template repository, and sending the end file. The template can be used to set up our own repository later on. If something doesn't work, or you're using one Mac, for example, so you can easily use Gitpod instead. So now we can safely run our own instance of a local Fhenix using the following PNPM command. Lastly, we need to fund our wallet. The address that will receive the funds will be the address whose mnemonic was set in the end file. In order to find our wallets, we basically need to run the following command. After we set everything up, we can start with developing our contract. Here you can see a step-by-step tutorial that guides you through the process of creating an example of a Fhenix contract. Those of you who are familiar with developing EVM contracts will find it very much alike. The only difference is that you have a TFHE suite that helps you process encrypted inputs safely. When we are done writing our first skeleton of the contract, we can test it up. In order to do so, we will start by compiling our contract using the PNPM compile command. We will continue with creating a task, which is basically a TypeScript that helps us with deploying our contract to the local Fhenix. The way we do it is by simply copying the example we have here and changing the names to fit our needs. After we have our task set, we can use it by running the following PNPM command. Please note that you can also deploy to the Hackathon DevNet network by using the following command. Finally, in order to interact with the contract, you can find a few more tasks in the template repository inside the tasks folder. You can use it as a reference of how to send transactions and query your contract. Please note that in order to use more tasks, you will have to import them to the following file. Its name is hardhat.config.ts. Now we can interact with our contract by simply running our new tasks. Here is an example of calling add_count task. To interact with our contract using encrypted data, we'll need some encryption tools that luckily we already have in our local Fhenix. The first one is the encrypt function, which receives an integer in its type and returns an encrypted representation of the integer. The other tool is the decrypt function, which receives a string representing an integer and returns the underlying integer. We all know that an application is not yet finished without having a proper UI. Here you can find a step-by-step example of how to create your own UI for your application that can interact with your contract. We all hope you will enjoy the hackathon and bring some awesome ideas of how to leverage Fhenix and Secret. Please feel free to approach us on Discord server for any question or concern you may have. You can also find out all of the links in the description below.